Hey everybody, View from the Pew. I like playing video games. Some of my adult friends like playing video games, and it's not just me. There's a lot of people who do that. It's exciting to be here with Entertainment Software Association CEO Stanley Pierre-Louis, right?
That's correct.
All right. Well, Stan, nice to meet you. Um, you've got a report saying it's not just teenage boys, more adults are playing video games. What did you discover in your report?
Well, every year we conduct a survey to understand consumers, their attitudes, their demographics, all surrounding video games. And we do this because we represent the U.S. video game industry. The Entertainment Software Association serves as the voice and advocate for the U.S. video game industry. And we like to share information about the impact our games have on society, on culture, and on the economy. So this study allows us to take a look at who's playing, why they're playing, and what people think of games. And this year's report had great insights, but also some surprises. Almost two-thirds of Americans are playing video games today. That's more than 205 million Americans. About half of those who play are women and about half are men. People are often surprised by the fact that but what really surprises people this year is you have more people over the age of 50 playing than you do under the age of 18 in terms of total numbers. And as you go through each of those age categories, there are surprising numbers all around. More than half of Gen X plays, almost half of Boomers play, and 36% of those 80 and older play video games each week.
Wow. Is there, like, for us older people, I just turned 50. What are the older people playing? Is it a wide range of games, or is it certain games they more are likely to play than other games?
Well, sure. There's a game for every age, and everyone plays all games. So we're finding that the age categories defy what people might think. But if you look at tendencies, younger audiences tend to love sports games and action games. As you get a little bit into the 20s and 30s, they enjoy some of the role-playing games and some of the shooter games. And then as you get into the older populations, puzzle games or games like Candy Crush. So you're seeing different types of games, but all meant to, one, bring joy and let people have fun. Second is people love playing with one another, so they love that connection. And third, as you get into the older populations, it's a great way to keep your mind active. And there have been studies that talk about the positive impact games can have on keeping your mind sharp. But for us, we've been looking at people's attitudes and behaviors, and they certainly feel like it keeps their minds a little bit sharper.
Well, and you got to think too. I mean, like when I was a kid, you play with a friend, you have to invite them over, maybe you do a sleepover, whatever the case may be. It seems now with the internet and everything, I mean, you could play with anybody anywhere. I mean, that has to help kind of attract more appeal to video games, right? Like being able to play with people from all over the world, your friends that may not live close to you.
That's right. More and more people are finding that they're making friends online. They're meeting people they would have never met in that other walk of life. And they're meeting sometimes people who become very important in their lives. But for people who know one another, it's also been an important connection tool. And we saw that during COVID. So many families were able to stay in touch through gameplay. A lot of intergenerational play, grandparents playing with their grandkids as another means of making that connection so that it's a fun way to connect and still have opportunity to learn about one another. So I think we're finding that games provide a lot of outlets for people all over the world, but also within families. And if I could talk a moment about parents, about 70% of parents play games and 82% of them play with their kids. What they find is it's a great way to spend time together. It's a great way to understand what kids are doing. And it also allows them to understand all of the mechanisms for making choices around what families should play together. So we're finding that parents are finding games as a great connection with their kids.
You look at these games, they're getting more realistic, from sports to even like, shooting games and other stuff like that. I mean, have you found that maybe adults like them more because they're a little more educational? I mean, I guess in some ways it's good to have fun with some stuff, but like I play a golf game where it's like really playing golf, and obviously you're not shooting yourself, but you have to use the same type of principle. Is there a lot of education people have where they learn more about the games and other stuff and playing the video game version of it?
Yeah. Well, we are finding that an increasing number of adults have started playing the video game versions of the sports they like, and a
Oh,
very high
okay.
percentage of them are finding that it helps their performance. And if you ever watch some of the programming when the teams are in their off sites and they're in those practice sessions before the season starts in the preseason, they're often playing video games in their off time, and they're
Yeah.
playing that sport to connect with one another and also to continue competing. And as they enter the league, a lot of younger players, because they've played in like the Madden game, for example, they understand the NFL playbook a little bit differently than prior generations, and so they are finding that it helps their performance. But mainly, they're playing because it's a lot of fun.
Well, and we realized too, we had fun with a story recently in college football. They're now giving money to schools based on the number of times their fans play that school in the game. So there's like a revenue thing, not just for fans, but for the teams that are representing the games. It's kind of strange.
Yeah, yeah. So
So,
starting to gamify everything in life, and that's what we're seeing is that we all love games, and there's an importance of just play in our lives. So as different companies, different industries, different educational institutions are looking for ways to engage people, gamification is becoming the norm more and more.
now you represent the Entertainment Software Association, so obviously you'd want to see this group do better. This has got to be good for software in the future if it's games like consoles or the phone or anything. It seems like the future's bright for everybody. I mean, it sounds like, right?
Well, one of the great things about our industry is we've been digital first from the very beginning. We are works of art that are made with ones and zeros.
Okay.
And what we try to do is meet and exceed consumer demand. Players today love the high fidelity. They also love a great storyline. And we try to make sure that the technology is keeping up with the demands of today's consumer and player. But we also want to make sure we're staying true to what the game is, what the story's about. And that's why you're beginning to see those storylines not only really gain a lot of acceptance within the video game world, you're starting to see other forms of media gravitating towards entertainment content made from video games. So, shows like The Last of Us on HBO Max or Fallout,
Yeah.
Prime, those are all rooted in video game content, but the storytelling is so powerful, it transitions well to other mediums.
If we did this interview like 5 years ago, we'd probably be amazed at if we could look at it and see what we see now. What do you think we're going to be at in 5 years? Like, if we talk again 5 years from now, where do you think we're going to be at in terms of video games? What's going to look different 5 years from now, maybe?
Well, one of the interesting things is how quickly we can turn new technology to help make games faster for players. And you're beginning to see that for years, we've used AI in our industry as a way to help develop games a little bit faster, and that's going to continue to grow. But what you'll see as part of those innovations is personalization within each game. Right now, when you're playing a game, there are a series of characters called non-playable characters, NPCs, and they help you along the way, or they are part of the scenery. But being able to create an opportunity for those non-playable characters to personalize the interaction or to make it different each time is one of the things that makes games a lot of fun. And as it relates to the way that you want to play, it creates even more opportunities to elevate your gameplay.
Yeah, and you think the graphics will even get better too? Would you say?
Well, certainly the graphics have gotten so photorealistic
Mm-hmm.
that it's hard to tell if you're watching a real sport or if you're watching a video game when you walk into a room. So I think that will continue to grow. And all of the technology around games, I think, will continue to fascinate fans. And as devices become more powerful, not only the consoles but the handheld devices that people use, that will make it all the more richer of an experience for consumers.
How do you think? I know Xbox got a little bit of flack, and obviously prices are going up wherever you look at. Um, is there a sense of something that could be done to kind of keep the prices a little bit lower, or like anything else, the prices are going to go up just based on the economy and just the new stuff that you guys are able to do with the games?
And are you focused more on the consoles or the video games themselves? I just want to make sure I'm answering the right question.
Well, I think you're seeing a little bit of both. I mean, Xbox took a little bit of flack because their consoles were going up and some of the newer games were going up. And I mean, prices go up. It's part of life. But I'm wondering, is that just part of everything, or is it just something specific to the video game industry? Why the consoles and the games are going up by the years?
Sure, let's focus on games for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
The
Yeah.
real price of games haven't gone up tremendously over the years. There have been some announcements about games getting into that $70 and $80 range more recently, but largely there's a very wide array of prices for games. And when you think about gameplay and the amount of work that goes into each game, it's an enormous amount of entertainment for the dollar. You know, by the time you have finished the game, you've probably seen 100 or 200 movies, and when you play the game, you're getting a different experience each time. So it's one of those interesting quandaries for the industry. And you know, we don't focus on price with respect to what we do in our advocacy, because that's for each company to do on their own. But if you think about the value you get out of the game and the years that can go and hundreds of people involved in making some of these games, it's tremendous value for fans. And I think all companies are making sure that they not only provide that opportunity for fun and excitement, but also to keep prices as palatable as possible for consumers. So I think each company makes its decisions on how they want to do that. But every effort's made to really meet the consumer where they are.
Well, I kind of look at too the value you get, like the hours you get based on what you spend. Like you said, you go see a movie, it might be $15 a ticket anymore. Here, you've got this video game. Even if you're spending $80 on it, if you get 200 hours of enjoyment, it's a lot lower cost than some of the other things you might do. Yeah, so I definitely understand that. What Stan, appreciate your time. And like I said, great report you have. We'll try to provide a link to that so you can see more of it. And thanks for your time today. Hang on for a second afterwards and have a great day, everybody.
Thanks very much. Really appreciate the time to share a little bit more about video games with you and your audience.